So going into this current season of high school basketball, a lot of eyes were on Mikey, and just the anticipation around him along with how he would perform at Lake Norman was very high. And this because people just wanted to see how would he perform when facing better competition than what was offered at San Ysidro back in California, because as many people know, San Ysidro treated him right. Like, he was having his way out there. Viral highlights nearly every game, impressive scoring performances like, 77 points, and it all earned him the 3rd overall rank by the end of the year. And although his season at Lake Norman is still underway, a lot has been shown, some of which are good and some is bad, but one of the glaring things is that there's definitely been less viral highlights and high scoring games for him this season as he faces better competition, and his rank even fell by 2. Which might make some wonder, did he really make the right choice by transferring away from San Ysidro? And if I'm being real, the short answer is just a simple yes, because for one, COVID-19 unfortunately delayed high school basketball in California, and then secondly, because basketball is not just defined by highlights. It may look good, but facing better competition and struggling a little will only make you better. But go ahead and scratch out the obvious answer, because in today's video, we're gonna sort of compare Mikey's freshman year at San Ysidro to his current sophomore year at Lake Norman Christian, and just point out some of the biggest changes, both good and bad. But before I go any further, man, what's good YouTube? Plug Speaks back with a vid. If you are new, first of all, welcome and subscribe. If you think Mikey's rank is accurate, then like this up and turn on notice. I upload 3 to 4 times a week, and we are trying to do our thing in this new year, so I'd for sure appreciate it. We are grinding the 2K subs and beyond, but back to the video. So between Mikey's freshman and sophomore year, there are a lot of differences, and there have been a lot of changes from his actual performance, role on the team, rank obviously, stats, just a bunch of stuff. And the first difference I want to point out is the difference in competition, which really has affected everything. And this is because the competition at San Ysidro simply was not that great at all. And that is probably the most generous way I could put it, because in many games, Mikey was among the tallest, if not the tallest on the court, and it's not even like he's super tall. As a freshman, he was 6'1". So that pretty much tells you all you need to know about the league. And I mean, his height advantage definitely helped in a lot of ways, from dominating scoring wise to getting highlight poster dunks. And ultimately, it just made him look really, really good. And that's not to say that he's not a good player, because he definitely is. Doing something like dropping 77 points as a freshman is impressive no matter the circumstance, to be real. However, just imagine if some of the other top guys like DJ Wagner or Matt Bewley played at San Ysidro, or not even the very top guys. Let's say someone ESPN puts at 25th overall like Bronny played at San Ysidro. I'm sure we can all agree that they would shine just like Mikey did. And that's how you really have to look at things. But that was at San Ysidro. Now that he is at Lake Norman Christian, man, he has played some of the best competition this year out of any other ranked high school hooper, and that is not an exaggeration. I mean, I said it in a different video, and I'll say it again. It's so ironic, because literally the biggest knock against Mikey last year has turned into probably the best argument or excuse you could make in his defense for any underwhelming games this year, and that is that he has played some of the best possible competition out there. I mean, we can name off the schools: Oak Hill, led by MJ Rice; Minnehaha Academy, led by Chet Holmgren; Sunrise Christian, led by Kennedy Chandler; Bishop Gorman. Like, you could just go on and on. And this great competition has for sure resulted in some of his struggles, but it's not as if he's been completely shut down or stopped. If anything, his process of adjusting to this new competition has caused a very inconsistent play. Like, he's had performances where he exploded for 40, and at games where he scored 20 on inefficient shooting. And I think that we can all agree that this is because some things he got away with at San Ysidro are just not sliding at Lake Norman, and as his performances show, it's affecting his overall game. And you could point to the numbers drop off between last year and this year, but I feel like with Mikey, you gotta look past the numbers, because they do not tell the full story at all. You have to look at his actual play style, and then the aspects of his game that have been made less effective ever since the competition increased or just gotten rid of. He's no longer the biggest player on the court, so his attempts at exploding into the paint for a dunk are way less effective. And this previous tendency of his just never made that much sense to me anyway, because I know he's agile and mobile and athletic enough to just use crafty finishes in the paint and score every time, but at times so far this season, he just did not opt to use them. But on to yet another aspect of Mikey's game. Mikey's perimeter game and jump shooting ability has never been bad. Like, it's a well-known thing that he can shoot the ball and even pull up from really deep, or at least what is considered deep at the high school level. However, at San Ysidro, he could get to his spots with ease. Like anything he wanted, he mostly got because the defense just wasn't all that great. But now that he is at Lake Norman, I've noticed that a lot of these shots he used to take are either not even available or they are just much more difficult to even get off. So yeah, he's taken a lot of tough shots this year, and I know he is capable of hitting these shots, don't get it twisted. However, you should never rely on something like that, especially if you want your performance to be efficient at all. And one of the possible solutions to this struggle leads me into yet another change between last year and this year, which is the change in Mikey's role. And man, has there been a change in his role, because San Ysidro basically ran everything through him. And Mikey's a combo guard, so he can bring up the ball like a point guard or just play shooting guard, but I think most would agree that his game is best fit for that of a shooting guard. However, at San Ysidro, I'm not sure what they saw him as, but he definitely brought the ball up the floor and started the offense like a point guard in most of their games. And like I said, they ran things through him, so their performance as a team was heavily reliant on the day-to-day performance of Mikey. And there's not really anything crazy with that, because that's how a lot of high school teams are, and it's just high school basketball. However, things at Lake Norman are a lot different because Trey Green runs point for them, and he is a very capable point guard that handles the ball well while Mikey plays shooting guard. And because Lake Norman doesn't just run everything through Mikey, he has played a lot more off the ball this year, which is something he'll have to do more and more as he goes to higher levels of basketball, so it's great that he is starting now. Just things like moving without the ball, using screens and all that are great ways of scoring that Mikey has used more and more at Lake Norman. And with better use, he'll be taking less and less tough shots. But on to yet another difference. Lake Norman Christian is not just more structured than San Ysidro, but they also have a much better team in terms of personnel as well. Like, Mikey does not have to do everything on his team. Like I said, they got Trey Green, a solid point guard for them. And another one of their better players is Joyful Hawkins, a 3-star recruit with several D1 offers. I mean, do not just glance over these two guys I mentioned, because although Mikey is the ultimate star of the show, you would be pretty wrong to assume he plays like it in every game, because there have been games where Trey Green or even Joyful Hawkins have outplayed Mikey. For example, when they played Sunrise Christian led by Kennedy Chandler and lost in 89-67 blowout fashion, Trey Green went off for nearly half of the team's points with 28, so there's that. But do not take that as me saying Trey Green is the best player on the team. No, I just wanted to highlight how good he is. And I know there are really people that would claim that Trey is the best player on that team. However, if you are really being completely unbiased, I don't see how you could come to that conclusion, especially since the defensive attention Mikey receives is cause for a lot of the openings his teammates even get. Anyway, as you can probably tell, I'm pretty fair to Mikey when it comes to his struggles. I'm not trying to just gloss over his faults, and I haven't, but I never make videos with the intention of just bashing or hating or over critiquing a player, especially when the player is not in the NBA or college yet. I mean, it's only right, but yeah, on to the last major change I'll briefly cover as I wrap up the video. Mikey's national rank according to ESPN has changed since he was at San Ysidro, previously being 3rd overall to now being 5th. And the whole video pretty much sums up the reasons as to why it dropped, but that does not really mean he got worse or that he's getting worse. If anything, like I sort of said in the beginning of the video, the struggles and the great competition he is facing right now is bound to make him even more dangerous. And I really don't understand why some people like to believe that Mikey has peaked. I mean, maybe physically, maybe he won't get any taller, but as a hooper overall, he is becoming better just off the experience that he is gaining. And if you don't believe me, then trust, just give it time and time will tell. And we'll see if he really hit his peak as a freshman. That doesn't even sound right, but yeah, that's it for me. I appreciate you all watching. Make sure to like this sub if new, share, all of that. Let me know in the comments what you think about all this and Mikey's sophomore year so far. But like I said, that's it for me, and I'm out.